intro. This is not an intro.
I never had an intro in my life.
Yeah. Run it back, nation. What is good? It is I, DJ Eastwood, Run It Back Philly. No frauds, no fan boys. No, it wasn't an intro, man. Never had one of those. I don't know what you're talking about. YouTube hit me up with copyright stuff a couple years ago, and I said, I don't know what you're talking about. Because I, as far as I know, have never had an intro. What's going on, my people? Thanks for joining me on this beautiful Wednesday. We're going to talk about a couple of things. Sixers-wise, NBA-wise, and then get into a little in-depth on Frank Vogel in the second part of the show. Everybody in here, do me a big favor. Close out the chat and hit the like button. Content creators like myself, we make this content for you absolutely for free. All that we ask is that you hit the like button. That's it. That's all that we ask. And subscribe to the channel. If you watch these videos, streams, clips, anything on the regular, and you're not subscribed to the channel, that is what we like to call fraudulent behavior around here. And this is the no fraud zone. So hit the like, subscribe to the channel, all that stuff. This is brought to you by Factor Meals. Go to factormeals.com/runitback50. Get 50% off your first box. Freshly prepared chef meals delivered to your door for as little as $11 a month. Factormeals.com/runitback50. Yeah. I got a quick story for you guys. I saw a fox this morning. I was taking my son to school. I pulled into my driveway after I took him to school. It was me and my dog in the passenger seat. I got out of my driver's seat. I looked to the back of my backyard, and there was a whole fox standing back there with an entire squirrel in his mouth. And he stared right at me, bro. We made eye contact. Me and the fox. It was just me and the fox in the middle of the universe staring at each other. And I was in my head, I was like, oh, if I let my dog out of the car and the dog tries to protect me, my dog could fight the fox and she's not going to win that battle. So I got the dog out of the car, ran inside real quick, and the fox ran away. But foxes symbolize a major change in your life. seeing a fox can symbolize the fact that it's time for you to move forward. It's time for you to accept a major change in your life and adapt to the new chapter of your life. That's what seeing a fox can symbolize. I just learned that on Google, okay? And the fact that the fox had a whole squirrel in his mouth tells me, he was telling me, hey, go get what you want in life. Go get it right now. I came down to this neighborhood. I'm just a fox. I came down to this neighborhood because I wanted a squirrel. They said, you can't go to the neighborhoods to get the squirrels. And I said, I go get what I want. And I went into the neighborhood and I got a whole squirrel. Maybe that's what the fox was telling me. De'Aaron Fox to the Sixers? Is that what it was telling me? Hey, shout out to that. But yeah, I saw a fox, man. 5 takes in the chat. Anything you want. Sixers related, sports related, not sports related, Sixers head coaching search, anything you want. 5 takes in the chat right now. Matt L. I've always wondered, what does a fox say? That song was horrible. Remember when that song came out? What does the fox say? Yeah. Thanks for the super chat, man. What are you guys arguing about in the chat? The head coaching thing? The Frank Vogel thing? Let's see. Superhero 18, what's up, my guy? The days where 2 stars was enough to have some elite offense died with the 3-point shot revolution. That's an interesting take. You're right about the fact that the days where 2 stars was enough to have some elite offense died with the 3-point shot revolution. You don't need more than 2 stars, I don't think. You need 3-point shooters around the stars. You know what I mean? Is that what you're trying to say? I mean, you look at Jimmy Butler right now. There's not a whole bunch of stars on that team. It's just a dog getting it done and, kicking it out to some 3-point shooters. And then, you got your Gabe Vincent type of players being the combo guard, doing his thing. They just all fit together perfectly, man. So, but I think you're right that the days of... Now, I don't think you need more than 2 stars. I don't even think you need 2 stars. I think you need a superstar and a bunch of players that fit perfectly, which is another reason I'm over this, man. I just saw an article that said the Sixers could free up cap space in 2024 for a 3rd star. What do we do? Why are we obsessed with this 3rd star idea? All you've ever needed is the right players around Joel Embiid. Can Joel Embiid lead a team by himself? No. Can Joel Embiid lead a team? We don't know, really. But Joel Embiid was 12-5 in his first month as a Philadelphia 76er with Robert Covington, Dario Saric, and TJ McConnell. So, if the spacing is there, you stand a better chance. When you got a guy like James Harden... and he's going, 1 for 17, and then the defense is not hanging out on the perimeter. You got everybody bricking, My guy Romp posted a lot of highlights, a lot of clips, not highlights, lowlights, a lot of clips, from that Sixers Celtics series where we absolutely blew completely wide open threes. They weren't defending the perimeter anymore. It's been this way around Joel Embiid for a long time. You got to make the defense stay on the perimeter. You got to keep the defense honest. You need guys that are going to bring the defense out to the perimeter. We've been saying this forever. And it happened again in the playoffs. They weren't even defending the perimeter. DeAnthony Melton was missing by a mile, wide open. Tobias Harris. George Niang. James Harden. Tyrese Maxey. Everybody missing. Miss. Matt L., this roster, even without Harden, is better than the team from 2 years ago with that bum sitting out. They were a 4 seed. That's interesting. Cameron C., he's a great defensive coach, but we need an offensive system. Do we, though? That's going to be what I'm going to get into. Do you need some kind of genius offensive system? Or is the NBA just talent-driven? And you need players to show up. I'm not saying Doc Rivers wasn't the problem. Doc Rivers was the problem. Doc Rivers' lack of any creativity whatsoever was a problem. Doc Rivers, the percentage of cuts and movement off ball in his offense was much less than Brett Brown's, which I thought wasn't a lot. So that's pretty impressive to outdo Brett Brown. But Frank Vogel had the 2012 Indiana Pacers with Paul George and who? You name them. George Hill, Lance Stevenson. He had them in a game 7 against the Miami Heat LeBron James Eastern Conference Finals. And he had the 2020 Lakers in the NBA Finals. Let's talk about, speaking of Doc Rivers, let's talk about this first. Hey, was that 5 takes in the chat? One more take in the chat, man. One more take. In the bubble, okay. I mean, I agree with that. It was the bubble, but you were still playing 5-on-5 basketball, right? DJ, we're talking about 2012 now. SMH, we need new faces. What, you want to coach with no experience now? Is that what you want now? I'm not allowed to talk about what somebody did in 2012? What's your plan? How are you going to get a championship coach that just won a championship last year? How are you going to get a what? So is there a cutoff? I'm not allowed to talk about 2012, so where's the cutoff? I need to know. And if there's a cutoff, how are you going to get that coach? Nick Nurse is the coach? Nick Nurse, it's not happening. It's not happening, bro. Why would Nick Nurse choose Philly? You tell me. Tell me. I need to know. Why would Nick Nurse choose Philly? I need to know. Tell me right now in the chat. If he has a choice of Phoenix, Milwaukee, and Philly, why would he choose Philly? I need to know. He's not. He's not. That's not happening. He's not. If he wants to get back to a ring as soon as possible, he's choosing Milwaukee. Why would you not choose Milwaukee? That's what I'm saying. Now listen. Speaking of Doc Rivers, the Phoenix Suns are advancing 4 coaches to meet for interviews in the coming days. Nick Nurse, Doc Rivers, Kings associate head coach Jordi Fernandez, and Suns associate head coach Kevin Young. Their top candidates are Nick Nurse and Doc Rivers. Now, if you are the Phoenix Suns, I know it's hard to sell aging. It's hard to sell Chris Paul. It's hard to sell Kevin Durant right now. Maybe. But if you just say, hey, listen, Monty Williams didn't know what he was doing. We got Devin Booker, a veteran point guard in Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton, who has potential but hasn't been used right, and we have Kevin Durant. I'd say that's a pretty good selling point. And I think it's a better selling point than James Harden, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and maybe the worst supporting cast in the NBA, George Niang, and you know how that goes. Maybe, or maybe not. Maybe you could sell the Sixers roster and say, look, Jalen McDaniels, Paul Reed, Daniel House Jr., DeAnthony Melton. We got a good supporting cast. We just had a stubborn head coach. Maybe you could say that. Maybe. But yeah, Doc Rivers is a finalist for the Phoenix Suns, and that's funny to me. I don't know why does Doc Rivers even want to coach at this point? You know what I mean? He didn't really seem like he enjoyed it too much in his last couple of seasons in Philly. He doesn't seem like he likes it. You know, he walks away from the bench just completely frustrated and annoyed. You're 62 years old, man. Your retirement age. It's time to retire. He absolutely hates the media. He hates anybody criticizing him at all. He fights with the media. He fights with the fans. He resists everything everybody says. The Paul Reed thing, the Ben Simmons thing, the DeAndre Jordan, Montrezl Harrell thing, all this, all the way back to LA. Why would he be interested in continuing to do that? Because you're going to go to Phoenix. You're going to have another cast of star players. And you're going to fail again. And the NBA media is going to hate you again. And you're going to sit up there and defend yourself again. I just don't know why Doc Rivers is still interested in this. It's weird to me, bro. Just retire, go golfing, do something. Nobody cares anymore. It's over. Let it be. Let it be done. I don't know why the Phoenix Suns are interested. I don't know why anybody's interested. That's where I'm at with it. Look, Brian Windhorst was quoted yesterday as saying, "I still suspect that all of that is just one giant leverage play, that what James Harden really wants is to elicit the biggest offer out of the Sixers, even if it isn't a max." So could James Harden just be playing a game to try to get the most money out of the Philadelphia 76ers? There's two things here. There's people that believe him going to Houston is set in stone at this point. And there's other people that are saying he's out of options. He's not going to get a max. He's putting the Sixers in a corner. He knows the Sixers are in a tough situation. He knows the Sixers are damned if they do, damned if they don't. And he's going to leak these little things here and there. Little leak here, little leak there, little rumor here, little rumor there. Oh, open a new restaurant in Houston. Oh, open a new restaurant in Vegas. Oh, he likes this place. This is his favorite nightclub. This. Leak. To make the Sixers say, we have to sign Harden. And I think he knows. He's not stupid. And he has an agent that's not stupid also. The Sixers could be in a situation where they say, look, we didn't get it done with Harden, but we're absolutely screwed if he walks for nothing. And he knows that. So he could be playing this game to try to get the Sixers to pay him $40 million a year for 4 years. What's that? 80, 160 million? Little short of a max. But he could be playing this game to get the Sixers to say that. And honestly, the Sixers could be screwed in the situation because they could just have their hands tied, because I don't see many options outside of if James Harden leaves, what happens? If they might be forced to bring him back. Seriously. They might be forced to say, we just got to try again. We don't know what else to do. We don't have any assets to go try someone else. Is James worth this money? Maybe not at this point in his career, but it might be our only option. That might be what the Sixers say, and that scares me. You could say, let's just hopefully Joel's healthy next year. Hopefully James is in better shape. Hopefully Maxey takes a leap forward. And this is what we got to do. That might be what the Sixers say. If that happens, I'm going to be disappointed. If Harden walks for nothing, you're screwed also. I don't have the answer, but I think this might be true that James is sitting back and saying, I have all the leverage here. I'm gonna throw out a couple little things throughout the summer, that's gonna make it's gonna try to drive up that price as high as it can go. Or he goes back to Houston, because there's some people that believe he is going back to Houston. Teams around the league believe James Harden return to Houston is certain. That's not even like, oh, he might go back to Houston. He might sign with Houston. He's definitely going there. And I keep hearing people talk. The Patrick Beverley thing last night. Yeah, it was Patrick Beverley half drunk on a live podcast. But I kept hearing, I heard him say, there's a good chance I go back to Houston and reunite with Harden after Roan asked him that question. And then Roan replies and says, they got young talent. They're re-signing Harden. He said it as if it was a fact. One more thing here. Brado, NBA, Rockets content creator, seems to be convinced that James Harden is going back to Houston. And I'm bringing Brado. I don't even know if I'm saying his name right, because I just found him on Twitter and I hit him up because I saw some of his tweets. I've been seeing his tweets like this for a couple days. And I said, come on the show and tell us why you think James Harden's going back to Houston. So he's coming on the show tomorrow. I think that's dope. We're going to have a conversation about James Harden, the Houston Rockets. Is James washed? What does he think of James at this stage of his career? Why does he think James is definitely going back to Houston? You know what I mean? But here's a tweet that he had yesterday that I thought was pretty interesting. As it currently stands projection-wise, it looks like the Rockets will be signing Harden to a 4-year max along with drafting Amen Thompson at the 4. He's just giving you a perspective. Obviously, he's talking to Rockets fans, but me as a Sixers fan, to you, I want to give you this perspective on why Houston would want James Harden, because a lot of people have been saying, why would Houston want Harden? Why would they even want to do that? Why would they want this old wash whatever when they're rebuilding? Here's a good perspective on why they might want him. They might draft Amen Thompson at 4. They might sign Harden to a 4-year deal. That gives Houston an elite playmaker for the next few years. James Harden is still an elite, I'll say, facilitator. I don't know about playmaker because he gets into the lane and it looks like he's stuck in quicksand. He looks like it looks like somebody's uncle running on a beach. But they might consider that gives them an elite playmaker for the next few years and a potential elite playmaker in the future, Amen Thompson. They'll have around $15.5 to $17.2 million in cap space left after signing Harden to go and additionally grab free agents, trade targets. So they could overpay James Harden because they have a ton of cap space, continue with their young core, go sign some more free agents that they feel like fit, and they could say, James, just be that facilitator that you want to be. Get the ball to Jalen Green, Jabari Parker Jr., and everybody. I think this makes sense for why the Houston Rockets might actually want to sign James Harden. So we'll see about that. I found this funny yesterday. Before we get into the Frank Vogel stuff, it's coming right up. I just did a little bit of a dive on Frank Vogel's history and some of his best teams, and just because the Sixers interviewed him, and I kind of want to convince you that it's not a terrible idea. Before we get into that, just one thing that I found funny. One of the biggest James Harden stans on Twitter, the goated one, I unblocked him just to be able to post this tweet because I think it's hilarious. He was posting a video right here trying to slander Nick Nurse. And he said, Harden is so gone once he sees this terrible hire. But once you watch the video and listen to it, Nick Nurse is on the money.
James Harden is on he's on a run of, I don't know how many games, 8, 10, 12, 14, in the 50s. 50, he's got like 12 straight 50-point games coming into playing us. And my referee guy. And he was shooting 24 free throws a night. Right? He's shooting 24 free throws a night because he's dribbling down and anybody gets near him, he grabs their arm, he, gets up underneath them, pulls the ball, and they call it on the defense all the time. And he goes to the free throw line.
That is so true. That is so true. And I've been saying that for a while. But the thing is that James doesn't really have the athleticism anymore to sell it as hard as he used to sell it. Now he tries it and he just looks like a fat teenager doing a somersault. But shout out to Nick Nurse for that, because I said Nick Nurse is annoying the way that he yells at officials the whole game, but he saw the fact, this was years ago, but he saw that James was tearing up the league on a points per game average, and he saw what was going on, and he was in the officials' ears the whole time saying this is not a defensive foul. And I've said it a lot, man. I'm so tired of seeing James hook the arm and try to draw fouls. It's the most annoying thing I've ever seen in watching basketball. I wish he would stop. He's not going to stop, but anyway.
He grabs their arm, he, gets up underneath them, pulls the ball, and they call it on the defense all the time. And he goes to the free throw line. And I decided, you know what? I wasn't going to watch that shit. I didn't want to stand there on the sideline and watch it. I wasn't going to watch him score 55 points and shoot 25 free throws in my gym. I wasn't.
Hey, listen, Nick Nurse is my top pick. I fear that the Sixers can't convince Nick Nurse to come and coach the Philadelphia 76ers. That is what I fear. So we're going to talk about Frank Vogel before I get up out of here. But before we get into that, this is brought to you by Factor Meals. Factor Meals is a food delivery service that delivers fresh cooked, chef-prepared meals to your front door for as little as $11 per meal. If you're on the go like me, you don't always have time to plan things out. You're working, you're going back to the gym, you're going to pick up the kid from school, you're going to meet the girlfriend somewhere, you're going to whatever, and you're like, damn, I didn't even eat today. Then you end up doing something you shouldn't do. You end up stopping at a McDonald's or something. You know what I mean? You end up grabbing a cold sub from a gas station. If you're on the go like that, like I am, perfect solution. Factor Meals. For as little as $11 a meal, chef-prepared meals delivered to your front door. You pick the meal, the chef cooks it, they deliver it to you. They got calorie-smart options, keto options, vegan and veggie options, protein plus options, chef's choice. They even got snacks and desserts and shakes and smoothies. It's all right there for you. Check it out. factormeals.com/runitback50 for 50% off your first box. That is factormeals.com/runitback50 for 50% off your first box. Let's all eat healthy together. Now let's talk about Frank Vogel. The Sixers interviewed Frank Vogel yesterday. And I would think that their top two candidates right now are Frank Vogel and Nick Nurse. I really would think that. And I think Frank Vogel's being a little bit underrated. I think he's being a little bit disrespected. I really do. I want you to just look at a couple things that Frank Vogel has done, okay? Look, Frank Vogel was an assistant in Boston. Then he was an assistant in Philly, okay? Vogel became an assistant for the Indiana Pacers in 2007 under former Celtics colleague Jim O'Brien. In 2011, O'Brien was fired. Vogel was named interim coach. As interim coach, Vogel led the Pacers to the playoffs for the first time since 2006. He stepped in and led them to the playoffs for the first time since 2006 and then was officially named the Pacers head coach that offseason. That upcoming year, 2011-2012 season, he had the Indiana Pacers in the Eastern Conference semifinals against the Lebron James Miami Heat, who nobody was beating, and took them to 6 games. The next year, in 2012, he had the Indiana Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Miami Heat LeBron James-led team and took them to 7 games. That's a pretty good feat for having a team of Paul George, George Hill, Lance Stevenson, bunch of good role players, but really, was that a championship-level team? Really? Took the Miami Heat super team to 7 games in the Eastern Conference Finals? That says something to me. That's all I'm saying. That says something to me. Okay? Then, he goes to the Orlando Magic, young team, not really any talent on there, got a whole bunch of issues, couple seasons, 54-110, and got fired from there. Then he takes the Lakers job. In his first season, 1920, the Lakers developed into one of the league's top defensive teams. I know you keep saying we need offensive creativity, but I like what I see from a defensive perspective from Frank Vogel. There's 2 major issues I've seen with the Sixers over the past couple of seasons. Perimeter defense, namely letting guys shoot wide open threes. I know the Sixers' defensive rating has been up there in the top 10, whatever, but we just let guys shoot wide open threes all the time, and under Doc Rivers at least, and we've never adjusted. You let Zach LaVine get off 11 three-pointers. You let CJ McCollum go for 44 points. You let Seth Curry and Kyrie Irving combine for 70. You let Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum combine for 70 in Game 1 last season. A couple of the games in the Celtics series, the Celtics doubled the amount of three-point attempts. We were shooting 20-some threes a game, and the Celtics were shooting 45 or 50. That's all I'm saying. So I want you to look at this. And yeah, he won a championship with the Lakers. Everybody was healthy. You had LeBron, you had AD, you had everybody. You know, it was a perfect situation, and it was in the bubble. Why did the Lakers fire Frank Vogel? Well, don't forget, they put together that old-ass geriatric team of LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, and Carmelo Anthony. And they were terrible. You remember that? They were, look, we're coming back with all these. And we were like, what? How's that going to work? We were making memes about how bad the three-point shooting was from all of these players combined. That was a terribly constructed team. They absolutely flopped, and then he got fired. Is that his fault? Did he put together that team? No, Rob Pelinka did. And Rob Pelinka declined to elaborate on why him and the owner, Jeannie Buss, felt Vogel needed to be fired. So Rob Pelinka put all LeBron James' friends on the squad. That didn't work out because, I mean, come on, bro. We're talking about Russell Westbrook and 90-year-old Carmelo Anthony next to LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and then he gets fired. I'm just making a case. Did he deserve to be fired? That's all I'm saying. Now, look. Here's a couple things I want to look at. Here's the 2012 Indiana Pacers team. Well, if you go back to when he first became the coach of the Indiana Pacers, they had a defensive rating of 103.1. That was 9th in the NBA. His first full season as the Indiana Pacers head coach. Number 1 defensive rating in the league. 2013-14. Number 1 defensive rating in the league. 2014-15. 7th. 15-16. 3rd. And directly after he was fired, 16th. If that's not quite obvious that Frank Vogel makes your team a lot better defensively, then I don't know what to tell you. And when you look at the numbers down here, you look at things like three-point attempts. Opponents' three-point attempts. They were first in the league in opponent field goal percentage. That means the opponent had the lowest field goal percentage in the league. They were first in the league in three-point makes, opponent three-point makes. They were second in the league in opponent three-point attempts. They were first in the league in opponent three-point percentage. And yeah, their offense wasn't quite there, but did the roster have to do with that? Paul George, George Hill, Lance Stevenson. You know what I mean? Was it just, hey, the roster wasn't that great, but this guy got the most out of that roster and turned that roster at least into the best defensive roster in the NBA. I think that says a lot. Also this, rebounding. This team was 4th in the league in offensive rebound, 5th in the league in defensive rebounding, and 1st in the NBA in total rebounding. What do I absolutely hate about the Philadelphia 76ers right now? They can't rebound. Let's look at the Lakers team. Oh, look, championship team. Frank Vogel, defensive rating, 1st in the entire NBA. Once again, you look at these stats again. Opponent ranks, three-point makes, 3rd, three-point attempts, 4th, three-point percentage, 4th. Rebounding. Okay, they weren't a good rebounding team. 16th, 15th, and 17th. But the Philadelphia 76ers last season, opponent ranks, three-point attempts per game, 13th. 13th. Doc Rivers had this team giving up the 13th ranked three-point attempts in the league. Frank Vogel's teams don't do that. So clearly he has a better strategy at defending the perimeter, defending the pick and roll, and adjusting when perimeter players are getting open shots to lead the entire NBA in lowest opponent three-point attempts per game. I'm just making a case here. I'm just making a case here. And then look at Doc Rivers. Oh, my God. Look at Doc Rivers' Philadelphia 76ers team right here. That Indiana Pacers team was the number one rebounding team in the NBA. First. Doc Rivers, Philadelphia 76ers team. 26th. 22nd in defensive rebounding. 27th in offensive rebounding. And 13th in three-point attempts. I really do think in today's NBA, rebounding and defending the three-point shot are two very big factors in what's going on. I really think that. What do you think? What do you think? Paul George Hill was a solid point guard. I agree with that. The point is they weren't. Okay, I don't know what you guys are talking about in the chat. Embiid's MVP is worthless and holds zero value. Embiid is the laughing stock of the NBA right now. I made every media member who voted for him look like morons. He is an embarrassment to Sixers fans. Wow, bro. No, Joel Embiid was a regular season MVP. It's a regular season award. Joel Embiid was a regular season MVP. There's no two ways around it. Joel Embiid was a regular season MVP. He set records for 2 years straight. I'm not disagreeing with you that he has not been great in the playoffs. And that's the next step he has to take, and that's where we're all at now. Now that he won the MVP, now that he dominated the league in the regular season, back-to-back scoring titles, etc., we're all on the same page here. Nobody cares anymore. Joel deserved the MVP award. You can't say he didn't. Nobody cares anymore. This upcoming season, where Joel Embiid is about to turn 30 years old, in his 7th playing season in the NBA, it's time to put up or shut up in the playoffs. Nobody gives a damn what you do in the regular season at this point. Nobody cares. And he knows that he has to know that. Everybody's over it. We don't want to see another MVP regular season. Nobody cares. If you're not showing up in the playoffs, nobody cares. Seriously. But I disagree. I think he clearly deserved regular season MVP. It is what it is. A couple more takes in the chat, and I am up out of here. When LeBron owned the Raptors every year, I never got tired of watching that. The LeBronto Raptors, that man owned that franchise. No to Frank Vogel. He had too many opportunities already. Took the Pacers to the Eastern Conference Finals. Game 7 against the Miami Heat. LeBron James in his prime. LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, Ray Allen. Won a championship with the Lakers till they signed a geriatric roster and they flopped and he got fired. Went to Orlando. What talent do they really have? Orlando ownership changed in the middle of his coaching tenure and he got fired. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. My bad. Did I miss some supers, man? My bad. Let me get there. Miss Rudy, Bucks are old and have a boatload of free agents. Okay. Suns have no depth with a disgruntled Ayton, and the Sixers have the Harden situation. Nurse is fair game. I'm not putting the 76ers on the same level as those two teams right there as far as selling them to a coach. 76ers have more than the Harden situation. They have the can you win a game with a center being your number one option situation. They have the can you develop talent and find somebody on the bench that can contribute. They have a lot of situations. The Bucks are old and have a boatload of free agents. The Bucks have Giannis. Chris Middleton's going to re-sign. Bobby Portis is going to re-sign. What? Okay. They have free agents. We'll see in July what it looks like. You can't assume those guys are gone. If you're Nick Nurse, you're choosing the Bucks. Come on, man. You know that. If you, Mr. Rudy, come on, man. If you're Nick Nurse, you're choosing the Bucks. Suns have no depth. The Sixers have no depth. I don't know why you're putting the Sixers that high on that list, man. I don't see a future for the 76ers. I don't see a way to win right now. There's over 370 golf courses in the state of Arizona. Boom. Is that Doc Rivers going to Phoenix? Embiid can only hope with time people forget who was the better player in the 2023 season in that Western Conference MVP, soon to be Finals NBA champion Nikola Jokic. Clap. Okay, so you're a Jokic fan. Okay, that makes sense. If we can get Embiid to be okay with a soft reset year, this roster, even minus Harden, can make a second round try to reset the cap sum from 24-25. If having to choose between bringing him back or not. Is this really where we're at right now in the process? Is this really what the process has come to? A soft reset? Did we really tank all the way back in 2013? Make bad move after bad move after bad move after bad move. Brought in a GM in Daryl Morey who had to get out of a whole bunch of bad situations. Al Horford contract, one of them. Ben Simmons not wanting to play and sitting out, another one of them. Probably overpaid for Harden. Could have had Halliburton healed. Kept your picks. Kept Seth Curry. Kept Andre Drummond. Some more bad decisions. And in year 8 of the process, we're sitting here contemplating, should we have a soft reset year? Wow. This is what the process has come to. Wow. I also don't understand how long you guys think Joel Embiid is going to play NBA basketball. People keep saying things, and Matt, you're the man. I'm not trying to slander you at all. I'm just disagreeing with the point that you're making. Because how long do you think Joel Embiid has? How long do you think he has? This is a 7'2", 270-pound person playing a game that requires you to run, jump, stop, plant, cut, move. And he moves at that size better than anybody I've ever seen at that size move. And he's had injury after 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 injury. What have we seen? What have we seen that should make us think we have time to do a soft rebuild, a soft, what'd you call it? A soft reset. What have we seen that should make us think we have time to do a soft reset and clear cap space for 2025 and then try to put another roster around 33-year-old Joel Embiid? He just couldn't make it through the playoffs again at 29 years old. You think this guy's going to have healthy knees in 2025? Harsh reset. Fast reset. 30's the new 20. Stop it. Come on, man. Mr. Rudy, what'd you do? Drink alcohol for breakfast? The 76ers are going to have to blow it up. That's what I've been feeling like. Man. This might sound crazy, but it's possible for the Grizzlies to get tired of Ja Morant and we can get Embiid off the books. Woo! Let's pick your poison. This is where we're at in the process. This is where we're at. We choose either injury-prone 7-footer who burns out at the end of the regular season, is never healthy in the playoffs, and 34-year-old nightclub living, hanging out with rappers, nightlife celebrity, cool Balenciaga fashion outfits, James Harden, and move forward with that. Or we choose, I don't know what I'm going to call Ja Morant. Somebody who is obsessed with showing his gun on Instagram Live. I don't even want Ja Morant. I'm saying that right now, publicly. I would not want Ja Morant on my basketball team. Not even because of the gun stuff. I don't care if you like showing off your guns. I mean, if it's a legally owned firearm, is it illegal to show it on Instagram Live? I don't think it is. Maybe it is. Maybe it's against Instagram's policies. I don't think it's against the law. I don't want Ja Morant on my basketball team because Ja Morant is Russell Westbrook 2.0. He's all athleticism. He's all speed and jumping over everybody. He's 90% freak athlete, 10% skill. As soon as that athleticism declines a half a step, he's the next Russell Westbrook shooting 25% from three-point range, getting shipped from one team to the next, trying to be a new version of himself. I'm not interested in Ja Morant. I like a nice 360 layup. I like a nice poster dunk. I don't think Ja Morant gets you to the next level. Look at him. Look at the Memphis Grizzlies. What did they even do besides talk trash and get their asses kicked? Glock night at the Wells Fargo. Oh, man. We'll see, man. We'll see. Oh, my goodness. All right, hey, thanks for tuning in today, guys. Just wanted to go over some Frank Vogel stuff, some other stuff. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for tuning in. This is Run It Back Philly. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. I'll be back tomorrow night, and we're going to talk to Houston Rockets podcaster about James Harden and why he thinks James Harden is definitely signing with the Rockets. So tune in tomorrow night right here live on YouTube. I'm out.